The fight of tolerance and acceptance continues for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and intersex community. Various organizations in partnership with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development will launch the I Serve Equally campaign in Pretoria later this morning. To tell us more about this initiative, we're joined by Steve Letsike, the director of Access Chapter 2, and Grace Manganye, whose daughter committed suicide after being gang raped twice just because of her sexuality. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program. It really is, it's a tough conversation to have, but thank you very much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me begin with you, Steve. Why call this campaign I Serve Equally? How will it facilitate on the ground in various communities?
Thank you, Leanne. I think first, I Serve Equally, it's targeting, service providers, particularly the South African Police Service, to start serving LGBTI people, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex people, equally to like any other victim. The most important thing, what we're experiencing is that, or finding out, we are getting people who are secondary victimized at police stations, but secondly, we are also having a rise of inequalities that people are experiencing, and that needs to be addressed. But looking at it in a way that there's a pledge, there's a commitment that service providers take to say, I serve equally, I support LGBTI people that come to service point and they will receive competent service, and that is the whole goal of the campaign. Secondly is that we try to then upscale and capacitate our service providers to understand LGBTI people so that we can reduce intolerance and inequalities at service point. And part of I Serve Equally, it's Chapter 2, I am Chapter 2, which is our Bill of Rights in the Constitution. If each and every South African know and understand their right, they will be able to access competent service as well.
Yeah. I just want to bring you into the conversation, Grace, as well. You lost your daughter, Lesego, because most people still are very much so unaccepting of the LGBTI community. Talk to us about your daughter's story. What actually happened?
Morning. My daughter was busy with the other friends, living with them properly. It was no wrong. He was doing right like other children. Then I lost my child, and because he was just like any children. Even if other people, they said he's a lesbian, to me, it was only a child like other children. They didn't be lesbian for me. And then he raped for the first time. We go to the police, we report the case. After reporting the case, they said they're going to deal with the case. And then he knew that people before. And when we go there with the police to see that people, they said they are not there. And then after that, when they must follow up the case, they didn't follow up the case. When we come back to want to know what is going on, he just said, when you see that people, you must call us. So my child, the heart was very sore because of, they said, if I found the people there, they're going to be angry with me. They said, you follow us, you follow us. They said, it's better when I follow the people, when I'm with the police. Yeah. So I said to her, don't worry, my child. They will go little bit because it's not you alone. We got the case. It's too much cases. We must listen to them. When we try to phone them, they say, wait. When we try to phone them, they say, wait. Until they said, the case is lost. They don't see the case. So the child, the heart was very so. Yeah. Always I just take her to the side, to working, to the nice side to be all right, to
yeah.
be like we comfort her. Then after that, another case, the 26th April last year, when he go to work, they attack her. I don't know who's that of, is that people again, I don't know. But after that, when we want to know what is going on, they said, oh, he bought with a train. I don't know. Then after that, when we want to know what is going on, we didn't know, even herself, he didn't know what is going on until he full pain. He said, Mama, I'm not accepted here. I said, no, as long as I accept you, it's all right, my child. He said, no, I'm no longer belong here.
Yeah.
I said, no, my darling, I love you, man, don't worry. Said, I live here, Marish. I don't know. So I lost my child. I said to the community, the people, everyone, they must know that when you report the case must go on until someone be satisfied. Because when you report to your mother or your co-worker, the one who stop on you, when he don't answer you, you feel pain. You feel you rejected.
Yeah, indeed.
So I lost my child. My heart is still pain. So I don't want other children to find that the thing that my child gets.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, Steve, the story that we're hearing about what Letsike went through and the pain that Grace is left with. I mean, obviously, this is such a common occurrence. I mean, we're living in this day and age where there is so much awareness and there's so much acceptance that we are under the impression there is, but at the same time, that stigma is still there.
Yeah. No, I mean, you are right, Leanne. We know first is that South Africa has a long history of prejudice and intolerance, and it's going to require us to work a little bit extra to put effort on creating dialogue so that we can reduce stigma. In fact, we need to eliminate it completely. Yeah. And it is part of the initiative that tries to strive that. Often when we speak also again of service provider, it's really at the second level. What happens, a lot of incidents are happening in communities. So we need to start creating dialogues to reduce stigma and intolerance in communities. By the time survivors go to service providers, it's only at the level of response, and what service providers are doing, and are not offering competent service does create a loss of hope, a loss of trust and injustice in that level. So part of this initiative, which will be launched by the Deputy Minister of Justice, John Jeffrey, and also in partnership with various other organizations, it's time to stand up to serve equally without discrimination, without secondary victimization.
Yeah. Just very quickly, we've come to the end of the interview. A national task team was set up in 2011 to develop a national intervention strategy using, as a guide to clamp down on violence in the LGBTI community. What's the latest on that? Is it helping?
No, in fact, the national task team has been progressive because there's a national intervention strategy that is in place, which is a 5-year strategy. But it's looking at prevention, response. It's also looking at how do we monitor hate crime cases. There's a set up task teams in provinces where we call them provincial task team. There's also a rapid response team. Immediately a case is being reported, that the rapid response team, which is multi-sectoral, immediately monitors from the level of investigation to the prosecution side. And that is what we're trying to resolve these issues. So part of the campaign itself is raising awareness, but documenting the experiences of LGBTI people, highlighting and building capacity within service point, but also then building solidarity with everyone or allies, including the LGBTI organizations.
Steve, thank you very, very much for talking to us. We wish you the best of luck. We know the launch is taking place in Atteridgeville, in Pretoria West, and that's happening today with the Deputy Minister. And Grace, I just want to thank you again for being with us here and talking to us about your story and the memory of your daughter. And thank you for supporting supporting her and her choice in life.
Thank you.
Good. All right. So that's, of course, Grace Manganye, whose daughter committed suicide because of the lifestyle she chose to lead, but nobody else would accept her, and she was hence gang raped twice because of this. And there you saw Steve as well. And Steve is from the campaign of serving, it's called organizations, it's called I Serve Equally. That's the name of the organization. Let's take a break here on the program. We'll have news after this. Stay tuned.